everyone, Mike Arnold here, co-founder of Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. Let's check in on Monero. Monero, nice spiking down. We had some questions come in. So the last levels we had were these 271 level, and you see we paused there and then fell through it. People were wondering, well, we didn't really get a pausing candle. When that happens, how do I find the next levels down? Well, very good question. So this is where it's really useful to do a reverse scan box. And it's called reverse scan box because we're going back in time. Normally we do a forward one, which means we're coming down from a high in the past to a pausing low, like we did from this high to this pausing low to project that 271 level. If we don't get a pause, or it's not making new lows yet, we can do a reverse scan box. So it's from that same high, this on the 4th, back to the major swing low on the 24th. And that gave us the next level down of 242. So it spiked down to 239, came back up. We got these really two nice tails, turn around to the 8, come back, 50% retracement of this candle, then turn back up. You got to wait for the turn back up. Now it's hitting the 8 again. So that was a very aggressive entry. If we do run through the 8, then we are looking for a return to the 291 to 293 cluster area. And that was just defining, this is the prior point that was used for projecting the gain levels down. So let's see what that looks like on the daily chart to keep everything in perspective. So you see there's that 291, 293 level right back in the middle of congestion. If we do go through that, the next major level is about 3. You could watch for 300 where we have the rolling over 50, but the next major level is going to be 309, and these are levels if you did get long down here to move your stops. We can also at this point then do a forward GAN box, because if I switch back to the 4 hour, we do distinctly have a pause in here. So we could go from this high now back to these pausing lows and then see where that takes us. Easier to do back on the daily. So that takes us on the forward GAN box, which is the one I'd be using now for the next levels down since we've exceeded these prior lows. We'd be looking at 221 should we break lower, and then about 204. I'd be watching 204 to 208 where we have the rising 200 simple moving average. But again, this is a really nice tail. So if we turn back down tomorrow, watch for another 50% retracement and a turn up. That would be a nice second chance entry on that, and then a rally. But don't push these, especially at the 290, this 292 to 294. At least move up your stops. Okay, these are very aggressive entries because you're going against the rotation zone on the 4 hour, and we may get the first cross rotation zone on the daily. Switching over to Ripple, so we had the 81.84 level on here. We got this nice pause, which gave us our 74.82 level. We spiked through it to the GAN level 73.65, and then recovered. Two nice tails there. No retracement of those tails. Hitting the 8, pulling back, and then rotating back up. Still in the rotation zone. There was no great entry pattern there. So if you got something great, but we didn't have an entry pattern for us, so there was nothing to do. By the way, this potential double bottom we talked about, we talked about the extended move or a close above 87.08 before a push lower, never triggered, so those levels are done. Now on the next push up, we can watch for, key level I'll be watching for is this prior major resistance zone with the rising in 8. We already punctured through that and then drop back down. If we retest that, now we have the 21 EMA top of the rotation zone and the 83.15 area. So that's a key area that if you dig along, at least raise your stops up, because if it rotates back down, you probably don't want to be long, especially if it goes to new lows. You'll want to be patient. Let's switch over to the daily chart and see what else we can see for Ripple. So here we go. We got the rising 8 also up at this point, 86.60. So if we look here, if we bump this down a bit, and it's support, 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 support. This is how we fine tune the level. Now we're at about 86.11 with the declining 8. Because we want this little cluster to come in for our timing. You've seen how many times things stop at or right about at the 8 and then at least react to it. That's a great area to move up stops. Then the next, if it gets through there, it's the other side of this sort of horizontal channel. It broke above and then couldn't sustain. So we'd be watching for the next levels up right around, this about 93 area with the top of the rotation zone. So don't get carried away with these levels. Now, if it does break down and we don't sustain this, next level down 0.6865, and then below that, looking for about 6421. We do have the rising 200 simple moving average in there, so that might be some minor support, and we'll be able to fine tune these levels if it does push lower. That's what we have for you on Ripple and Monero, and we'll talk to everyone soon. Bye for now.